Ready to go live. Well, thank you. So we have Brother Hakeem with us over today. There was a very good debate we had with the atheists, and I'll put that debate inside the description. And so basically, this was on Ghalib Kamal's channel. He's an atheist person, and he criticizes Islam. And I think Hakeem over here, he has also appeared on his show to provide some feedback and things like that. So we're going to do a little bit of a debate review about this. And and I'll have that debate link in the description. So the first issue, which I'd like to kind of ask you about, I think there was a lot of issues, a lot of points of failure on the part of the atheist person, and he's like some anonymous guy. We don't know who he was. So Ghalib was hosting it. He was trying to show that when there's a verse in the Quran that we were created from a blood clot and something which clings or something, and then it goes on. So the point which I showed him three embryologists who looked at this verse, which he is claiming that this is an error. Okay, these three embryologists looked at this verse and said, actually, this is very accurate because in many respects, the embryo does actually look and resemble a blood clot. And they were very astonished with this one verse of the Quran, which I'll have to go pull it up for you. And so, but he was not listening. He was ignoring all of this expert opinion here. Actually, we got somebody in the chat here. He said, Nadir, why did you dox AP? He said you leaked his address online and his. No, that's not true. I don't even know where he lives. I have no idea about him. But thanks for joining us, Apollo. And if you want to ask questions, definitely you are free to jump in. And but let me first let's hear from Hakeem real quick. Then we'll hear from everybody else. So, oh, by the way, this is my first live stream for those of you who are wondering, and we're going to do a lot more of these. And so, if I make some mistakes here and there, please forgive me. So, the question I have for you, Hakeem, is that this, and so this, I brought forth three expert embryologists who looked at this verse. And I mean, these are the people who've actually put their eyes on the embryo, three of them. And they all said this does actually resemble a blood clot. And the evidence they gave is at the very earliest form, of the embryo, there is blood filled in there, but the blood is not circulating, and it resembles an embryo, resembles a blood clot. So the question which Olan Manila and all the people and need to first answer, which I think was not answered, and this is a question I have for you, Hakeem. He never really gave an explanation for why we should ignore all this expert opinion, ignore all this expert opinion, and go with his understanding of what this is. And so I don't know what did you think of that, Hakeem?
First of all, thanks very much, Brother Nadir, for inviting me to your first live stream. It's a pleasure
Yeah.
here. And as far as the blood clot verse, alaka, is related to, I think it is a very common theme. You go and speak with not just our friend, I think the anonymous guy, I think it was Bitter Truth. So you go and speak with him or anyone else who has a very different opinion, then there is something which is known as a confirmation bias that
Mm-hmm.
always triggers in. If I would probably will have my own confirmation bias whenever I will look on that verse or another verse. So yes, I would say yes. You have done a very good job explaining it in multiple ways, uh, telling that there are multiple meanings of alaka, giving your references from three embryologist experts, um, and but he kept on insisting for his understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So that is probably one area where I think he got really stuck on that idea, the basic idea. And I won't blame him because, to be honest, it was probably his first debate.
Right.
I don't think he has done any debates like this before because I could feel from his the way he was expressing his opinion. He was at least engaging you, so I have no complaint from him. But
Yeah.
in general, um, I think it lacks something from his understanding. Plus, it could be a confirmation bias. We always hear that it's mostly religious people who have their confirmation bias and religious bias and all those things.
Hmm.
True, but that day I realized that actually we all human being Homo sapiens have these tendency to sometimes become a little bit biased, and I think that's what happened to him. It was not easy for him to
To accept it,
that
right?
accept that there could be another meaning. Oh, it could be a miracle. Oh, it could be something which could be explained in another way. It could be a
Hmm.
scientific thing. So that's what normally happen whenever someone with opposite camps enter into a debate. They have this kind of idea that, oh, my understanding, my thing is so good. I will gonna make brother Nadir an atheist after he will listen to my comment.
Yeah.
That's a naive way to see the things. And he himself has also claimed that if you will convince me, I will become a Muslim. So a very
Right. So
nice
he
way
put
to put
himself
the
out there like
value.
that.
Yeah, so that's how we sometimes get overconfident. I think on that verse, I think on specifically on that event when you were expressing your understanding about this verse alaka. I think it's the probably the second verse if you on the Quran if you look from chronological order. I think Rabbi Rabbi khalaq insana min alaq. I'm, I'm not 100% sure. But I think it's the second verse. It's a very
Hmm.
important verse. And knowing that it was stated upfront to Prophet through angel Gabriel by Almighty is another significant thing about
Hmm.
that verse. So yes, I would say it was just a bad expectation from his end that probably he was thinking that he
Yeah.
will be able to. Uh,
Yeah. And
I'm not judging anybody, but I'm just giving you my honest opinion here on this.
yeah. And the thing about this is, so Olan Manila, who in the chat was say, "Oh no, this is wrong." So I hope now you can see that is actually right. In fact, let me just show you very quickly what I presented in the debate, and he
Please.
never did respond to this, which was very important. For him to claim an error, it was very important for him to basically. These are the three embryologists, which I was actually quoting, and what his responsibility in this debate really was to show, okay, all these guys are wrong. All these people are wrong. And I am right. And my expertise on the subject, let me tell you why you should ignore Dr. Keith Moore, E. Marshall Johnson, TVN Prasad, and when they spoke about the accuracy of the Quran, calling it a blood clot, that the embryo is like a blood clot. So that was the explanation which was missing. And so this is what they actually pointed out in their books, which you can see on the screen over here. When you look at this embryo, you can see that it is filled with blood, and again, this is something you really kind of you have to get your eyes on to really see it, and they're the ones who've actually done it, and it very much resembles a blood clot. It says the heart of the embryo connects with its blood vessels. Before this time, the fluid is filled but does not move around, and this is so the description actually astonished many of the scientists, and he never did explain why, when Muslims actually submitted this to the scientific community, one of the most reputable journals, which is the United States U.S. National Library of Medicine and a National Institute of Health. They looked it over and they're like, yeah, that stuff does make sense, and they thought it worthy enough to post. Now, if this stuff was all in error, then I really doubt they would do that. Um, Olan Manila, whoever wrote that in the chat, definitely, I hope you can look at these references and you can at least see how the embryo does resemble a blood clot. So it's definitely not an error. And I think the second question, which was uh, even a bigger, I think, problem, was the word alaka, which we're talking about. It not only does it mean blood clot, that's one of the meanings.
One
It
thing,
has
exactly.
many meanings. It
Yeah,
actually has three meanings:
yeah,
something which clings, as well as a leech-like clot.
yeah.
Excuse me 1 second.
No worries.
Okay, and so we showed him, dude, this has three different meanings, and each of those meanings, by the way, accurately describes the embryo, and that is why these embryologists talked about it. I said, dude, something which clings, yeah, the embryo is something which clings.
Yeah.
that's true, and it does look like a leech. So I showed him in the Arabic language, in the Hadith, people are using the word alaka for so like hanging a sword or something like that, and he just wasn't accepting it. I'm like, dude, do you see this usage of the word alaka? Doesn't only mean blood clot. And so, can you speak to that? What did you think of that episode?
Yeah, so I think my opinion on that is exactly the same. It's just the common human psychology. I don't really, I won't blame him. It would be very difficult for him to understand being an atheist and debating on something with the one of the master
Mm-hmm.
of the subject. I mean, you've been doing this for ages, and your delivery and everything was spot on. I think it was probably his first debate, so it was like somehow it was not very easy to understand everything, all the meanings. And that's probably one thing that I normally ask my other friends as well, that if you are getting into a debate on something which has
Mm-hmm.
multiple meanings, then you have to be really careful. And if you will
Mm-hmm.
just probably cling on one, if you will become an alaka and hang
Yeah,
on to just one meaning,
right.
then you will just keep on hanging. And that's what exactly was happening. That they were getting into circular debate, kept coming into the same thing, and they would just keep saying the um, same understanding. And he was referring to, I think, Tafsir Ibn Kasir, if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the, I think, probably the most ancient translation.
Sure.
I'm not saying that ancient means bad, but it also mean that probably people at that time didn't have the enough understanding
Well,
or lack of knowledge,
did it?
or
But did Ibn
they
Kathir
didn't understand the
actually?
importance of it. Sorry.
Well, the question I have, he showed Ibn Kathir, but did it actually prove his point that alaka can only mean blood clot and nothing else? I mean, did it actually support what he was saying?
No, he couldn't. To be honest, he couldn't.
Yeah.
He just, as I said, he just got stuck. He got just become alaka to this one
Yeah.
concept, and he could just go hanging on it. I mean,
Hello, can you hear
he
me?
seemed like a
Sorry
very
to
nice
cut
guy,
off,
to be honest.
brothers.
Yeah. Somali, just give us 1 minute and we'll get to you in just a second here. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
brother,
So,
perfect.
so the final point I want to make on this is look, for the atheists and all the people on the Ghalib's channel, I just ask you a simple question. Can you accept that alaka has three different meanings? And this is also for Ghalib. And I think everybody I asked were like, yeah, we can see it clearly has three different meanings. Yes. And from the references which I presented, I just want to show one very quick, and then we'll get to you, Somali brother. Let me show one very quick share screen. Um, So this is one of the references I gave right over here. And basically the word alaka is used here. He hung it around his neck. And the word there is alaka. He alakaha fi unuqihi. And that's referring to his neck. So there you go. There's a word is being used, not for blood clot. And I'm flashing this in his face. And all the atheists who are supporting him, including Ghalib, can see, oh wow, alaka here is used, and I'm not even using a dictionary,
Yeah,
in case you want to make the
to find
claim that
hadith.
oh,
Yeah.
the dictionaries are all corrupt. This is Arabic being spoken 1400 years ago. He used the word alaka to show something which clings, something which is hanging, which by the way does accurately describe the embryo. Let me show you that real quick here. So if you go here, we go to alaka, cling. There you go. And let's go to images. And let me just get that out of there. And hope nothing bad pops up.
I hope
Okay,
not.
so when we do this, you will see that in many respects, there you go. It's something which hangs, something which clings. And again, this is what the embryologist, this is not the Muslim apologist, but what the embryologist pointed out. Yes, the embryo does hang. It does cling, as you can see inside the picture over here. Let me see if I can pop this up over here. And when you go to the hadith, so all three meanings accurately describe the embryo. And I think, as what you are mentioning, I think you are right about that. That he was put on the spot. He didn't want to admit he was wrong. So he felt like I was trying to humiliate him in some manner. And I guess in a way I kind of sort of was,
I think you've
you
been
know.
very
Yeah.
very polite,
Yeah.
and that's the thing I like about you, Nadir. You've been very gentle and genuine there. That guy himself, I believe, that was a very nice person.
Hmm.
Personality wise, I have no issue. I think he was honest as well, but he just
Yeah.
got clinged on on that concept for multiple reasons. I mean, a human
Big-
psychology, you don't want to get feel defeated
Right.
when you are the one. I think you are the probably the only Muslim there, and yes, me as well. But yeah,
Hmm.
who knows me? But
Yeah.
yeah, all everyone was atheist there, and if you go there and he would accept it, that, yeah, brother, now there are three
Hmm.
meanings of this word. Yes, it is defined in hadith like this. Yes, there are embryologists, specialists who are telling that these
Hmm.
meanings are correct. Then it's a very bad defeat for him. So I think that's true. It was very difficult for him,
Yeah.
and especially on this area in this verse, he couldn't really provide enough response, and his response was, I would say, rather uh, persistent, and
Yeah.
he just got, like, somehow he just got stuck to this idea that he cannot
Yeah.
accept what he's seeing. It happens to a human being. I'm not blaming him, but yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
So, okay, thank you for that. Somali, I'm
Yes,
sorry, we're finally getting
yes.
to you. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Oh, yes, brother. Just to add to Hakim's point, I agree. Ghalib was running away. He admitted that he was wrong. I seen it in the debates, and I've seen that he kept arguing with emotions and
Hmm.
not with logic, like Mr. Nadia. And I noticed in many of these debates that I watch on modern day debates, especially with AP and Mr. David Wood, they all running away, and I'm sick of these.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I want to stress on a certain point that they don't understand the difference between supernatural things and things that we cannot prove. We cannot prove
Hmm.
some things in the Quran because they are supernatural scientifically, and they do not
Right.
understand that.
Right. And I think, to your point, I think what they were trying to refer to was about there's a verse in the Quran where basically Allah will hurl the lamps
Yes,
at the devils. Yeah.
yes,
So the big fail for them on that is they never actually showed how this contradicts modern science
yes,
in any way.
exactly. And
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've been keeping up to date, brother Nadia, but Apostate Prophet, he's been going all over social media saying that you doxed him and you tell the world where he lives on the live stream with James in modern day debates. And I don't know,
I,
brother. He's been threatening you on social media. I went on his comment section and I told him, hey, don't say these things. But he doesn't listen, brother. He is an
really,
animal. Yes, he is an animal.
I don't know where he lives. I mean,
He said that you said his address and that he's going to report you, and you guys are in similar kilometers in Chicago or something like that.
no, I mean, how would I mean, how is
I
it
can, I will,
possible to know somebody's address to even begin with?
I will
Uh,
send you the link, brother. He said, and I quote,
yeah.
"I want to lick your bald head. I will slap this man. I will, I will." He is ridiculous, brother.
Mm,
He's absolute ridiculous person.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
That is very strange. And I will reach out to him and I'll explain to
Yes.
him I
Tell him the
didn't.
Somali economist
Yeah.
is not happy with him. All of Somalia is not happy with him.
Yeah.
He is very racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about apostate prophet,
Mm, mm,
in some ways I'm a little bit grateful to him because he gave me the opportunity. So because I had a couple of discussions and debates with him on Quran and science. So the way in the beginning, I have to admit, I didn't really have a very good understanding of the subject.
mm,
And
mm,
so, I felt like, you could have done so much better. And there was a lot of feedback which came from many of the viewers saying, well, Nadir, you might have had some points here and there, but you could have done a much better here. And they pointed out my mistakes. And so
Right.
what was very interesting was not only did I listen to the feedback of what Muslims were saying, but even many of his own followers, many
Awesome.
of his own followers would give me this
Yes.
feedback, and I'm
Very good.
like, and over the year period, so we had two debates. Between that year period, I must have sent out maybe hundreds of messages.
Really? I
Yeah,
don't know what's wrong with this man.
yeah.
Honestly, he's sick. He is a
Well,
sick individual. And give me a second.
yeah,
I'm just going to try a drag of my vape.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Brother Nadir,
yes.
I want to compliment on this.
Mm.
You're really a humble person. You accepted
Oh,
that you've been doing,
Oh,
I mean, mistakes, or your understanding was not
mhm.
really up to the par, and that's a very good quality that you are
mm,
admitting it. I mean, we all are learning all the time. I'm full
Mhm.
of mistakes,
Yeah,
and that's really good. I think it's very important for us to admit our mistakes
yeah,
and improve on that. May I make a quick comment on Brother Somali's
yeah.
thing
Go
about
ahead.
atheists?
yes.
Yeah, it's just one quick thing, brother. You mentioned they don't believe on miracles and supernatural things, and
Yes.
and I do agree with it, but I would say that they are very open. At least they are not like many hypocrite religious folks, not
I
only
tell you
Muslims but
something,
others.
brother. Sorry to cut you off. Sorry to
Sure,
cut you
sure,
off. I
sure.
tell you something, brother. These
Please.
people, you can never help them. They can never be saved. You know why? Because they see the sign, they see the truth, but they don't want to believe it. They don't want to. They want to live in the atheism, in the Western,
Sure.
with the girls and the party, and they don't care. Just entertainment. And I thought, I feel bad sometimes for them. I feel sorry.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel sorry.
Yeah, but brother, what we can do is we still need to listen to them. Their criticism is very important for us
Right.
if we want to
Exactly.
improve ourselves.
Of course, to
If we
learn more
uh,
knowledge, of
that was
course.
my only point. I mean, if they are criticizing us, we should just take it as a like a kind of a blessing, as a like a kind of a special favor. So I am in the field of IT, and in IT
Okay.
we have special departments who do testing for us, and we're paying
Yes.
them a lot, tons of money, probably as much as developers are getting paid, as much as the testers are getting paid. And that's exactly what they are doing for us. If they are picking or nitpicking or even over criticizing it, which they shouldn't, we should let them do and appreciate that, because I mean, at the end of the day, they are not gonna give any damage to us. They can't. They can just
Yes.
speak words. We can learn
Uh,
from them and then just respond to them. If it would not be Ghalib, the atheist guy, I wouldn't met Brother Nadir.
yes.
But I'm
Yes.
becoming more Muslim. I'm becoming more religious after listening to their issues and concerns.
Mm,
That's my
mm,
take on it, brother.
mm.
Otherwise, I agree with them. I mean,
Yes.
there are some issues with definitely.
I have a question for you, brother Nadir. Maybe you can give, or maybe
Sure.
both of you, if you can give me some guidance, please. I have some
Sure. Sure.
question. Okay. Eh, I give you, you know, the ancient pagan religion, the
Hmm.
ancient paganism. Okay.
Uh, which one?
Before, just in general, or
In general,
before the
all
Abrahamic,
pagans.
before the Abrahamic books.
Yes,
Okay.
brother. Yes.
Yes. Before those three books, there was all these ancient pagan civilizations with their building and their structures and their
Yeah.
societies and their laws and their own religions and so forth. What I have a question that confuses me sometimes, gives me doubt in my heart, is
Sure.
why, if God real, why he didn't reveal a book before? Why he wait 2,000 years
It's
and
a
then
very good question,
Musa come and then he revealed the Torah?
brother. I also had this issue, or like you can say, doubts on my head. But you know
Yes,
what? 6 to 7,000 years ago, we were all hunter gatherers. If you
yes,
would have given a strict rule, or like if you would have told them, like now we are debating on the word alaka, one word, Arabic word,
yes.
and we are just, people can't understand it even for 14 centuries. If you would have, imagine if you would have given them the rocket science formula or periodic table or all the science and information that probably God knows, and hunter gatherers, you wouldn't be able to speak to them because the language was not really progressed that far. So that's my
Yes,
personal understanding and take. So what happens is, it's fine, they were following whatever they could understand, and they were getting the message of God. So in Quran there is a surah, there's an ayah that mentioned about the holy scriptures, the
mm,
scriptures of the first scriptures, and then the scripture of Abraham and the scripture of Moses. So the Sohuf al-Ula, the word is used as Sohuf al-Ula, means the initial, the first scriptures. Those were before Abraham. If you read
yes,
the verse, I will send the link of the reference here there.
yes,
So
please,
God
yes, yes,
definitely gave his instructions, his message to everyone. We might have lost that message, but the message was same. In Quran, Allah Pak says that this is Al-Kitab, and the same book He has given to every nation. The same message. In Quran, Allah Pak
yes,
doesn't call itself Quran. I'm giving you Quran. Take it. It says Al-Kitab, and the
wow,
Al-Kitab is Bible, Torah,
yeah, the book, yeah, yeah,
Sofal,
yeah,
Sofal Musa, Sofal Ibrahim, and Sofal Ola. They're all God's book. So their messages
Mhm.
were always given. And
yes,
somehow I believe that all the messages, no matter you are speaking with a Hindu brother, while they are very different now, or Buddhists, they all have human. They all have the same God. The same God must have given the messages to all these holy people. We have
okay,
now adopted different messages, and it's fine. And there are still people, like for example, if you go to Australia, the Aboriginal people, they never got any message. You go to Native America and Americans, they never got any message, because probably they didn't need that. They were not really evolved enough to go into those issues. They were having a simple life in jungle.
mm,
They
mm,
were like more or
mm,
less hunter gatherers. So God is giving you. So if you got this opportunity of learning Quran, or if you are born in a Muslim family and all those things, take
but
it as a blessing. Take it as a blessing, brother. Because,
yes,
like for
of
example,
course,
not everyone is getting higher education in Oxford University. There's only just uh, like there are some Russell universities, there are some like Red Brick universities. But I mean, obviously, God is giving you the message according to your need, your time, and everything, and it comes in succession. So that's my only
Yeah.
point.
mm, mm.
I hope
So
I didn't
Yes,
mess.
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah. So basically, one thing. Of course, there are many people. I think if I understood your question, brother, you're talking about revelation being sent to people outside of the Abrahamic tradition. You know, 'cause you got the
yes,
lineage of Abrahamic prophets. From Abraham, and then of course there's the Israelites. Well, my understanding is Islam does not limit revelation to just
yes,
the Israelite lineage. There's actually a verse in the Quran, and I'll find that for you in just a second here, which states that Allah sent a messenger to every nation of people on earth. So that would mean that there would be a prophet who would be sent to the Chinese people, to the Russian people. Not all the prophets were mentioned in the Quran. I mean, there's been thousands of them. So the what you call the Israelite lineage is just one of the many strains of prophethood which we find. Now
yes,
that I think that does raise another question. So what's going to happen to those people?
yes,
Who let's just say they have never heard the message. In fact, why let's just bring up people living in the Amazon, who are uncontacted with any kind of civilization. They just so how it's good what's going to happen to them? So the
yeah,
Quran makes it very clear that Allah doesn't punish people unless they have been first warned. Many verses of the Quran about that.
mm,
So
mm,
what we need to accept, which is hard to accept, is there's a little bit of a mystery. How God is going to judge the world, and especially those people who have never heard the message, or even people who have heard the message but not properly. Maybe they heard bad stuff about Islam, misinformation. So God is going to have to judge them. Now, many scholars even point out that the test which we have in this world, that doesn't end in the world. It could be that Allah could give him an additional test in the next life, you know which would then compensate for the loss of not having that message in this life. So
yes,
so what I want to point out is there is nothing in Islam which tells them that you have a ticket straight into the hellfire because you're not a Muslim.
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
not Islamic.
True.
Okay. But there
yes,
is
Well,
the problem. What we have to kind of accept is so there is a mystery in terms of how Allah will judge them. He didn't tell us how it will be judged. So I don't know if that answers your question or.
yes. It does. It does
Yeah.
answer my question. But I also it raises another point in my brain that just popped up.
Mhm.
If it's okay, I don't want to take too much of your time,
Sure,
guy.
sure.
Yes. Uh, For example, I have this thought as well, the Kaaba. Okay,
Hmm.
we pray to the Kaaba, we walk around 7 times the Kaaba, we walk around and we do the pilgrimage. Okay, and we kiss the rock because it has special properties and the Kaaba has a special power of energy, right? And wouldn't that be idolatry because it is a statue? I never go when I go to the mosque, I don't see statue. When I go to here, I don't see statue. Only I see pagan worship statue. So why in return does Islam follow a pagan practice and
Hmm.
pray to this Kaaba, which is an idol, which is a statue in
Hmm.
of itself? So it
Hmm.
confuses me. It is almost like a contradiction. So I was
Yeah.
wondering if you guys could clear that up for me a
Yeah, I
little
think we
bit.
got your question. Brother Nadir, do you want to answer it first, or should I go first? Up to you.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. I can just give my 2 cents on that. Well, first of all, the Kaaba and the circumambulation around the Kaaba, this is not a pagan practice. Okay, this is something which was established by Ishmael and Abraham, and you will also find evidence for that even inside the Christian scriptures. And so, in fact, what Islam was doing was it was restoring the correct Abrahamic religion back to its original form. That was really one of the messages of Prophet Muhammad. Now, there's many verses in the Quran, and many people actually don't know this, but there's many verses in the Quran which actually address the fact that the pagan Arabs were actually technically monotheists. Let me explain. You see, they didn't really believe in like 4 or 5 different creators. They believed in
Mm,
Allah. If you would have asked those pagan Arabs, are you the descendants of Abraham? Are you the descendants of Ishmael? Do you even know who Ishmael is? I'll say, yeah, yeah. So this is also a
mm,
misunderstanding which
mm,
many people have, where they're like, okay, no, these are just pagans who believe in all these false gods. Now, in fact, there's verses in the Quran which says, if you ask them who created the heavens and the earth, they will surely say Allah. They will not say 4 or 5 different gods or Baal. They'll say, no, it was Allah. We know that. Where the disagreement is was that they said, okay, we can accept Allah. We understand the prophetic lineage and all that, but there are other deities which bring us closer to Allah. You see, we
mm,
worship these things because that's going to help us get closer to Allah. And
mm,
that's a
mm.
common mistake you're going to find in many different religions, which is what they did. So what Islam said no, these other entities, these other co-gods, or these other types of holy men or statues and idols, this is not something which you have the authority to do. Allah never revealed for you to do these things. So that explains the
Yes,
part about the pagan.
I
Now let me,
understand that.
yeah,
I understand that, but
yeah.
that doesn't answer my question that it is still a statue that we are
Ah,
worshiping.
so
So
here's my understanding. See, when you say the Kaaba is a statue, is this your interpretation, or would you say this is your
what is it then?
interpretation?
What would you call it then?
Well, here's my
It's a
point.
house. You could call it a house, but a
Yeah.
house is still technically a statue.
You
I
couldn't.
mean,
Okay. So here's what very easy answer. I mean, I can definitely understand how. Let's just say somebody, a critic, or let's say even a apostate prophet, we could say, I can definitely understand how he would interpret it that way, and I can
yes,
see how this interpretation technically can work. But what I want people to understand is Allah also has his interpretation of what that house is. Allah, and this is what people don't understand. If something is open for interpretation, where you could interpret this more than one way, then you can't take your interpretation and just run with it and say, this is the only way this can be explained.
True.
Okay, that's wrong. So the point which I would like to make to other people is now I'll just give you my interpretation. I say
yes.
absolutely not. That's just looking at it from objective point of view. If I were to look at that, that looks like a box, that looks
Okay,
like a
okay.
house, and people, when you look at idolatry, people don't worship boxes and houses. They don't do that. So
Okay,
if
but
this is idolatry, that is the most ridiculous thing which I heard. So
let me
here's my
answer your
point. No,
question.
here's my answer. I just want to give you real quick. The issue which you have to understand here is, okay, I've given my interpretation. People can give their interpretation. Allah also has his interpretation, and this is his interpretation, and that's where I think it
Could
answers it. Go ahead.
yes, could I answer your question by giving you another question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I
Can we
was
just
to
hang on one second? Because I mean, let's answer this question so that we should move to the other one. Otherwise, there will be too many
Mhm.
questions. So
yeah
let me quickly give my 2 cents on it. Kaaba is never. I mean, there might be a misunderstanding among multiple groups of people, and
okay
especially the people who are overcritic on Islam. They normally pick it up and say it's a cube. Cube Kaaba means a cube, and there were
Mhm.
some people in ancient times who were worshipping cubes for example, in Arabic Peninsula and all those things. But the
okay
main thing is the only you if you want to know what a cross is, you have to take the words of a Christian. If you want to speak with about a fire and fire worshipping, you have to speak with a Zoroastrian. If you want to
yes
know what is Kaaba for a Muslim, you have to speak with a Muslim and ask him, are you worshipping it or not? Pick
yes
any Muslim anywhere on the planet and ask him, are you worshipping Kaaba? He will say it's just a direction for us so that we can be united. We should all be following one direction. It's symbolic. We are only worshipping one God, which doesn't reside in a box or a house. So that's the
yes
main thing. You have to take the things from the people who are following it. Otherwise, it's
okay
easy to get confused. You can just, I mean, I know many of my Muslim friends who believe that Zoroastrians worship fire while they I think probably I'm gonna go into another tangent which I try to avoid, but I'm just saying it that these are all misconceptions. Normally people who are not practicing a religion, they get these problems. I also heard that Allah Nauzubillah is a pagan god of moon or something like that, because
Yeah, yeah.
on the mosque you will see there is a symbolic on most of the mosque. You will see there's a moon there. Moon is because we are following lunar calendar, right? So there are all these kind of
uh,
misconception. And then
y-
sorry, go on.
yes also it's because in pre-Islamic Arabia there was actually a god called Allah, and he had a staff with the moon, so that is where that misconception originates
Mm.
from.
Could
But
be, could
another
be.
point
The main
to
thing is, brother,
add
here is what Muslims believe. That's what thing is. We take
yes
Kaaba for the direction of our prayer, and
I
that's
ask
it.
you a question, brother. I ask you a question. Me
Sure.
right now, I go outside my house, I build a box. Okay, the
Yeah.
same one, the same shape, the same color. I put stone in middle. Okay,
Yeah.
and I start praying to it outside my house. Are you gonna call me Muslim or are you gonna call me a pagan? Just answer which one.
Well, okay, I'll answer that real quick, but can I before I go there, my one question I just have for you is
Yes.
why is this criticism not being given to the Jews on the Wailing Wall? Now there's a big
Oh,
war.
I can go on with them. I haven't even started with them. They
So
are
do you feel
they.
like this? So I mean, my point here is okay, if Jews can, go in front of a Wailing Wall and they can, it looks like they're praying to it. So, but no one ever criticizes them and calls them pagans.
Well,
So
they
that's
are. They actually do a lot of pagan rituals. They do more pagan rituals than they do Abrahamic
well,
rituals. If
let's
you
just talk
study the
about the
Torah,
wall. Let's just talk about the wall, though.
okay,
Yeah. So the
that is
point which
very
I'm
pagan.
making, yeah. So the point which I'm making over here is, look, when Christians bow down in front of the cross, people don't really say they're worshiping the cross. Okay, when a Jew faces this wall and prays towards this wall, nobody
Mm,
really interprets it that way. That this is some kind of idol worshiping here. Now, going to your analogy, is if you took a stone and you put it in the middle and you just started praying to it,
yes.
I would say, the first question which would come to my mind, I wouldn't just jump to the conclusion you're just worshiping an idol. The first question which would come to my mind is, well, explain this to me. Why are you doing this? Because this could be open for interpretation. You might have a different meaning than what I have. Now, if you took that stone and created a head, an arm, a leg, and it looks like an idol, well, then that's to the general public. When we look at that, that truly
That
does look like idol worshiping. I will
that
probably
is
ask you
your
questions about
definition
that.
of idol. That is your definition of what an idol must look like. It must have hands and arms. But to me, an idol must not
Ah.
have that. It
So
has to
so
be a
that
statue.
clarification needs to take place. See, the point which I think
Yes.
maybe where you're not fully understanding is all of the things you are mentioning are vastly open for interpretation, and Allah has his interpretation on what these things mean. And when Allah tells us, well, okay, you should do this, and this is not idolatry in any way, that's perfectly fine. I guess is what my point here is.
Okay, okay, but
I can
yeah,
I can
okay,
give
okay.
I can also give 2 cents on your uh, practice if you would do that. And hypothetically, I'm sure you're not interested
Obviously,
doing it.
no, I'm being
Yeah. So
hypothetically, yes,
so
hypothetically,
so
yes.
so if you do this kind of efforts, building a cube, or even if you just hang a picture or photo of, I don't know, something like a cube or whatever you do, if you are worshiping it, if you are bowing it, you are not. And I have told you that you are not even worshiping Kaaba. Kaaba is just a symbolic thing that gives us a unity everywhere, all over the earth. 5 times a day, we offer our prayer towards it to maintain a brotherhood. That's the purpose. We are not worshiping Kaaba. That's one thing for sure. If you are making something like that, build any other block anywhere else, it will first of all break the unity, because now you are praying in opposite direction. B, it might be considered adultery, because you are not supposed to worship a piece of object other than God Almighty. Muslims don't worship any visible thing. They worship uh, Almighty, who is not in a material form anywhere, whatever you make. uh, like, for example, for Hindus, there's Ishwar. They have multiple statues of anything they make, but they never make a statue of or idol of Ishwar, because Ishwar is beyond anybody's understanding. Nobody knows what it is. It's beyond this universe. So similarly, God Almighty Allah, we don't worship any other god either. We don't worship any of His creation. For us, worshiping, even if you are uh, if you even if you will put, in my opinion, it's my personal opinion, brother, I could be wrong. So but yeah, what my
No,
understanding about shirk is, if you put a symbol of Kaaba in front of, even you're putting the direction to Kaaba, and you put a symbol there in front of it, and you are saying that, okay, I'm putting this thing because now it will make me more connected, you are doing a bid'at, which is, I think, very clear in Islam. You're adding a new practice to it. And if you're thinking that you are worshiping that picture, then obviously you're doing adultery. That's not how Islam works. You would be probably doing some other pagans practice, and you're trying to introduce it into Islam. And you mentioned about Jews and others. We all have, Jews are probably very monotheistic religion as well, probably as monotheistic as Islam is. There are some differences, but yeah, I know there are, because we all religions are built upon stories. We are all connected with the stories. That's how we connected. Stories are very important. So if there are stories, and some of them basically build something in their head or in their rituals, something related to the previous story, which they are still clinging to. They're still, by the way, they still have the month of Tammuz. And many Jews are really angry that why we are having Tammuz. Tammuz is the son of Namrud, so why we should change the name of it. So
Yeah.
there you will find things like that in almost every religion. So
So,
I hope I answered your
well,
question.
so
Yes,
so one thing I wanted to also mention is, so if you just take this issue about the Kaaba and you just take it out of the context and say, look, Muslims are praying in this direction. Look, there's a stone here. There's a building. If you just take it, I can understand how some people can start interpreting things in
oh,
this way. However, let's
yes.
put it in context. Now, when we put it in context, is the Kaaba had 360 idols. When the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu came to the Mecca, he smashed all of the idols in the Kaaba and he cleansed it. And then he explained to people that this is all falsehood. So if you look at it within this context, okay, he's smashing all these idols and he's making this as some kind of focal direction. My question for you is, can you see how now this is kind of a bad interpretation that the Kaaba is some kind of idol when idols were smashed inside of it? That's why we're not, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Very good
Yeah,
question.
I understand. Yes, I agree with that point. It's I agree with both your points. I'm not trying to debate you guys. I am
Mhm.
agreeing with you. It's just these questions I have them sometimes. That is all.
Definitely,
But
brother.
Mhm.
Definitely.
I agree with both you have opened my eyes a little bit more. I will do some more research. I'm still learning, but Oh, 1 second. Hurry up! My son, he's here. He escaped the cage. 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I actually got one of my kids under the table here.
I
She took
noticed
my
you.
cell phone.
Dear.
I have to get it back.
yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry. He
No
wake
problem.
up. He sometimes when he escaped the cage, you know how the retard gets. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. Uh, both your points were very strong points, and I agree that yes, maybe I misinterpret that it is not them worshiping it; it is just them praying to
In
it.
this word, misunderstandings is very common,
Yeah.
brother. Don't
You
worry.
know,
We all,
when
we
you
all
look
have
at
doubt.
it, I think when you look at it in the context, you can begin to see. I mean, if you just take the Kaaba thing and say, okay, look, they're praying to this thing, and it's understandable how some people can start interpreting it this way. But
Yes.
what people are failing to see, this is open for interpretation here. And I think from your stone example, you asked me what I would do. I would not just automatically accuse you of being an idol worshiper because what you're doing is open for
What would Prophet
interpretation.
Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam do? That's my question. He would. What would he
Now
do?
that the religion has been established on what is right, what is wrong, we would look at this as some act of falsehood. But even I think even if Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was here and he looked at that example, I don't think that that person would be uh, accusing you of idol worshiping because when you look at that stone, there's no image, there's no shape, there's nothing to it. It's just something
There
very
is. There is a
bizarre.
steel case around it, and they kiss it. They kiss it.
No, no,
They
no. What I'm
kiss it.
saying is, if
It
I'm
gives
going
them
to back
power.
to your example, if you were, worshiping a stone again, we would look to see what exactly are you doing. If you're just kissing the stone, let's just say,
Okay.
I would not in any way start accusing you of an idol worshiping. I mean,
Okay. How
honestly,
about
if I
this?
saw other people doing this, I wouldn't do it. I would
Okay. How
ask,
about
so
this?
what's this ritual? I would
You see
question
me
it. So
doing it.
tell
You
me
see
about
me doing
this.
it. You see me doing it, and you tell me, "What are you doing, Somali economist? What are you doing?" And I say to you, "I am just worshiping Allah, but every day I'm kissing this stone." But I tell you, no, 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 no. I'm just
Mhm,
praying to it. I'm not worshiping.
mhm.
That is up to interpretation. That means if everything is left to interpretation, we can interpret anything for days and days and days until there's unlimited amount of interpretation, and we
But
don't even know what's
the,
going on. But
hold
if
on a
a
second.
book is left up to
Yeah.
interpretation, that is not a good
Mhm.
sign. It has to be full on.
But it's not left open to interpretation. That's the whole thing. I mean, what I'm saying is, if
But
you
it
just
is.
take, hold on, well, hold on a second. Maybe I might have misspoke. What I'm saying is, if you just take this one act and you look at it, in isolation, and yeah, that one act would be open for interpretation. But now, when you start looking at the context of it, oh, wait a second, all the idols were smashed. Oh, wait a second, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam condemned idolatry. Oh, okay. So now the only real sensible explanation now is this is some kind of religious ritual. I mean, even if I was not a Muslim and I were to look at it within its proper context, I would come to these conclusions. I would not. And like you asked, would if I saw other people doing this? Yeah, I wouldn't accuse them of doing anything. Because, for example, a Christian they kiss the cross. You know, do I accuse them of idol worshiping? No, I understand what they mean by this.
Symbol
You
of
know,
respect. Yeah.
and I can give you other examples of that. But now, I even from the Hindu point of view, if I saw a Hindu, worshiping Ganesh, this is one of their many gods,
Yes.
and I would not, and this is a common mistake people would have, I would not automatically accuse him, or let me use the example of the cow. They venerate the cow. I would not automatically accuse him of being a cow worshiper. This is a statement of ignorance.
It's,
I
it's a
will
better example.
tap him on the shoulder. Hello, explain this to me. Oh, well, this is our relatives, and this is something sacred. And once I hear the explanation, I've actually come to the conclusion they're not cow worshippers. Okay, though they
Very good.
have wrong beliefs about cows. So you
It's
see, it comes
Mm,
back
mm.
to if I were in these shoes and I were to look at this, I would not come to those conclusions either. I think,
exactly.
and I think that's maybe where I don't know if that clarifies the confusion there.
Yes,
So
I
these are
understand your point.
subjective. These things are all subjective
Yeah.
truths. So we can't really put over objective truth, also subjective truth, and make it like this is the way you all everyone, the human being, everyone. So if you are, for example, if you're non-Muslim, then feel free to build whatever you do. Even I think in West, even if you're Muslim and you're doing little things here and there, little fluctuating here and there, nobody will say that you are a criminal, you're doing any crime or anything or sin, whatever. It's just that if you are saying that I want to be a muttaqi, I want to follow exactly what the word of God is, taqwa, then you have to follow exactly what is written in Quran,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
not fluctuate from here or there. So it's just different levels. But as
Yes.
brother said, I mean, I personally, I have also kissed Holy Bible. I mean, it's not my book, but I shown my respect to it. I was
Yes, of
visiting a
course.
Mhm.
church, and I saw the a very beautiful person. I think he has a huge beard, and he was very gentle, and he was just showing that Bible to everyone. I had friends who was standing next to me. They kissed it. I didn't want to say no. I'm not gonna kiss it. I'm a Muslim. Just that wouldn't do. And so I obviously I wanted to show the same respect. It's also Al Kitab. It's a book, revelation from the same God. That's what Muslims believe is. So I would say it's okay. You are not really worshipping. Is not just showing it's not just bowing and what you call it sajda and ruku. It's also asking prayers. It's a completed. It's a
Yeah.
huge framework.
Well,
It's not
let
just
me.
one kiss.
Yeah.
Kiss is just you're showing your affiliation, your affection, your sovereignty with other religious folks. Sorry, brother, Nadir, you were
Yeah.
saying something.
So I want to kind of,
Yeah.
so I think we've kind of addressed that at least to the best of my ability. But I want to go back to the issue of apostate prophet. So here I'm going to write an
Oh
email right
yes,
over here.
yes, brother. I also
Basically,
I want to
I
join
think the
you
whole thing
next
about
time.
the address. So I'm going to send him. I'm going to send him out this email, and hopefully that'll clarify the situation. But I want to go back to kind of a comment made about some of the past debates and things like that. You know, this is a mistake I see other Muslim debaters make. And I won't mention anybody's name, but they will say, "Oh, that person has been defeated, that person has been refuted," and I'm not going to waste my time with that person. However, and the where I see the problem here is the so-called defeat, the so-called ending his career type claims. Everybody is making that claim,
Yes,
meaning if you were to go to the atheist channel, let's just say you ask them about Nadir or even the Christians channel, they'll say the exact same thing. Nadir, I've ended his career is over. He's been defeated. He's been humiliated. And let's say you ask about David Wood to the Muslims. David
the hammer
Wood
boy.
or whatever Christian Prince, or they'll say everyone is saying the exact same thing about everybody. Now, if you were to go, let's just say to the atheist channel and ask him this question, has David Wood's career really has been ended by the Muslims or whatever? They'll be like, huh, what?
Yeah,
Where?
yeah,
No, I don't know anything about that dude. So this reality about ending the career of David Wood or Nadir or whoever, this reality only resides among this small or this group of people. Christians do the same thing. So that's a lot of, I don't know, that's a mistake people make. But the way I look at it is, as Hakeem was pointing out, there's great value in debating these people. And in many ways, I'm thankful to them. Like, because that only increases our knowledge. Like, for example, me and Hakeem, we were having a discussion on the last debate on some of the things. I missed some points about the heart, functioning of the heart. My initial
uh-huh.
response in the debate to Ghalib was not the latest and you could say the best response you can give. So after the debate, I did a little bit more research, talked to some more people, and I provided a much better answer, which specifically addresses some of his points, which he raised. So my point here is these arguments are now evolving. The debate and who is to thank for this? Apostate Prophet, David
Yes,
Wood, all these
yes.
people. The fact
Ghalib
that
Kamal.
they did provide that criticism. Like I'll go back to my example. I didn't finish my example. So the first debate didn't go very well, at least from the uh, feedback I got. Now of course to me, I'm like, this is all wonderful. But there are people tapping on the shoulder. No, it wasn't all wonderful. So I'm like, why? You know, and so I started talking, getting the people's feedback, and I made a lot of contacts with people from Apostate Prophets team. All those people in their comment section, and I'm
Yes.
like, why do you feel Apostate Prophet did such a great job? I don't get
M-
it. So we
Me
started
neither.
having a talk. And over that 1 year, I learned so much about this. Like, for example, I remember one person was saying, apostate prophet, he showed authoritative references about authoritative translations of the Quran, which, which the Saudi government has approved or something like that. I said, yeah, but I told you that was all a bunch of baloney. He didn't show no proof for that. And then he said, the apostate prophet fan said something very interesting to me, which really made me kind of see the light. He said, Nadir, who are we going to believe? If apostate prophet says something and you say something, who do you think we're really going to go with? I went like this. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
wrong. And
And
I now begin to see why people were taking his side. And I was like, and little things like that I began to learn. So what the mistake, whether it's right or wrong, which I saw both Muslims and atheists were doing when they're watching my debate, is people were saying, look, we don't really care if apostate prophet brings evidence for what he's saying. The fact that he made this claim against Islam, Nadir, it was your responsibility to silence it. Now, is that fair? No. If that's what's going to happen, yeah. So I had to be prepared for that. So over that 1 year time, I started getting the feedback. I started learning how this stuff works. And then finally, we came to another debate on the same topic of Quran and science. And Alhamdulillah, I can say that debate actually, from the feedback I got, was a success. So going back to Hakim's point, you could see the value of debating these things with these people. And that's why I'm irregardless of whatever he says about me, I am thankful to him because he provided me that opportunity to
yes,
increase my understanding of Quran and science. And our arguments are getting better and better by the day. Christians cannot argue that because if they were put in the same type of situation, the the spotlight, their arguments will not evolve because they're defending falsehood, number one. Secondly, so much spotlight would be thrown on the hilarious scientific errors of the Bible that people will start leaving this
like the
religion once
mustard
it's
seed.
exposed. Because the more
Yes,
you debate it, the more you expose what it is. And that's exactly what I want with the Quran. I want to continue to debate it because the more you debate it, the more you're going to expose what the Quran is. And Alhamdulillah, the reality of this being the true word of God will be made manifest, debate victory after debate victory. And so that's at least what my goal here is. So the
yes,
people who
and
says, "Oh, these people have all been defeated," they're doing themselves a disadvantage. You should be learning from apostate prophet. I did. You should be learning from David Wood. I did. But as Hakim was saying, some people, and I don't want to mention their names, they don't got that humility. When they
mm,
meet him, they attack him. They say you're a jerk, you're a bleep, 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 and they can't. And just like what we saw with atheist bitter truth debate, which we are talking about, they put themselves in a position where I can't admit that I'm wrong, even though it's blatantly, obviously, I'm wrong. And that's what happened with the atheist debate. People are going to do that. I don't put myself in that situation. I'm already coming in. I'm saying, AP, David Wood, all these people, I'm here to learn from you.
brother,
You know?
he messaged me on Twitter because I have a little bit of Twitter following.
Oh,
I
okay.
messaged him. We had just a little conversation, and I messaged him just to delete those comments he made today or the other day on Twitter about you, because it was going a bit far. And
Yeah.
I messaged him, and we had conversation. And I told him, listen, brother, if you keep going, the dear Ahmed have many friends, including me and many fans. I will destroy you. I tell him, I will destroy you in debate intellectually. I may not know a lot about the Quran compared to you guys, but I know a lot about science and a lot about atheism and a lot about political things. And I told him, I will destroy you. Brother, if you go on Twitter, I don't know if he deleted it. He was going a bit far. Him and some other guy, I never heard about him. Some shush or some bold person.
Sam Shimon. Yeah,
He
yeah.
Yes, yes, he is. Yes. He crazy man. He crazy man. He beat his wife and he go on Twitter drunk and he starts swearing, and I don't know how this man is a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how these people, they call themselves religious, but they act in such a way of animals. And
Mm-hmm.
I see this some Sean or whatever this idiot idiot name is. He was going crazy, man. Maybe he was drunk or something. But him and AP, I messaged both of them, and I hope Nadir, next time if you can message James from Modern
Sure.
Day Debates. Me and you and another friend who is got a PhD in political science. He is my best friend. We will go and we will destroy them together, brother. Inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. So
Yes.
yeah,
He
and
he 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 he
yeah,
wrote about you. If you want me to read it or bring up a link,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
got it
Send us,
screenshotted.
can you send me the link and we
Just
can look at it.
on email, on your email.
Ah, you know, you could put it in the chat over here. However, yeah, I guess you could put it on the chat over here. Yeah.
Because I'm not on my phone. I got it on my phone. I screenshot. I'm on my
Mhm.
desktop at the moment, so I
Maybe
can do that for you after.
maybe email because it will be more persistent. Chat might
Okay,
get missed,
okay, okay.
especially if it is a
I will
private one.
read it
Then
to you. I will read it to you. Just give me a
or
moment. I pull up my phone.
maybe email him. It will so that he can take his time.
Nadir Ahmed doxed me. Nadir Ahmed doxed me on modern day debates with Perfect Dawa and David Wood. He told the world where I live, and this is unacceptable. He is the lowest of lows. I will slap his bald head. This is what his words, brother. I will slap his
Oh,
bald head, and I will destroy. I will destroy any career he has left. His career is already finished.
see, there you go. Everyone's career is over.
And the other bits, I'm not gonna even read some of this stuff. I'm gonna just scroll a bit because it's not okay to say on stream. I don't think I'm gonna skip that. It continues. David Wood and me have destroyed Nadir more times than we can count.
Yeah.
Every debate he claims that we're running away and we're doing this and we're doing that, but we're not. He's the one running away. And he's the one that's a coward to dox me online in front of thousands of people.
Yeah. Well, first of all,
Uh,
I think the only thing I mentioned, okay, I understand what he's saying. The only thing I mentioned, I said, hey, listen, we're both from Illinois or something like that,
yes, yes,
you
he
know.
said that
But
you
I don't think
threatened
that, but that
to
is
hurt
doesn't
him.
mean. I mean, I think that's okay. There's no way a person is getting harmed by saying we're both from the state of Illinois. You know, like I got my Illinois shirt over here. You know, I mean, versus giving somebody's physical address out. I mean, that is what I thought was being
Yeah, he's
mentioned.
a bit crazy in the head. We all know his
Yeah.
past history. I'm not sure if you guys know about his
Yeah.
mental issues
I
he
don't
have.
believe a person is put into danger if you give out the guys from Illinois. You know, like
Yes,
they're crazy people I am actually afraid of, but I don't mind wearing an Illinois t-shirt,
he think that the
you know.
Muslim gonna come kill him. He say
Yeah.
people like me. He think the Muslim gonna come hunt him or something.
Mhm.
He's scared of that. He is a racist. That is why he think all Muslim terrorists or something. He is crazy, man.
Taking that into consideration, let's just go along with what he's saying. And okay,
Yes,
if that's what he believes, I don't believe what I said in any way puts him in danger. I really don't. So I think he's exaggerating. I think he's trying to find something
he
to
have mental
you know,
problem. He
yeah.
have his past of his problem. I've done
Mhm.
research on this guy. You know
Sure.
why? It is not because I am a fan or it's because this person he hurt me because of the thing he say he got too far. He doesn't know how to debate with humility, like you said. People don't know how to talk with respect,
Mhm.
or if they have different opinion. I seen him brother one time rip up Quran. I get hurt. You know why he do that? Why he do
Mhm.
this? He have problem of antidepressant. One time there
Mhm.
is proof. Brother Ali Dawa on live stream, he tell him he actually wanted to run over people. He wanted to do a terrorist attack, and there is proof for that all
Mhm.
over the internet. So the irony, this is the thing, the irony of him saying Muslims are bad and evil and they want to kill and they want to do this. In reality, he is the one that is like that. He's just projecting himself onto the world. And I don't like that about him. He is a
Mhm.
liar, he is a snake. And in Somalia, in my country, what we say to these people is, you want to run? You're going to run naked because we're going to come for you.
Mhm. Well, you know, going back, hold on, let me plug in my little thing here. Uh, I personally, what I believe is, you know, I try not to get into the personal attacks. Of course, everybody, I mean, a lot of these people have problems, as I said, and as you mentioned, he might have some mental issues, and that might be very true. But he said that I'm basically running from him. No, it is actually the other way around. It's him who's running away from me. Basically, going back to the Quran and science debate, like I said, it went very well. And I think it went too well, where now it is him who is refusing to continue. I want to go talk about Christian Prince here. I think, what's his name? Olan Manila asked something about Christian Prince. And I don't know about the hadith. In fact, let me get your comment here. because I'm learning how to. I'm learning how to use this live stream right now. This is like my first one. So you did say something. Um, hey, Sayed, nice to meet you here. Um,
Do you want me
what's
to
this?
get it for you? I can get it for you if you want
Oh yeah,
on
here's
you.
a comment. There you go. Now I think um, show. Okay. Christian Prince asked you 15 times before you answered that the alcohol is bad or good. So
Hmm.
this is all a sham, my friend. You see, what actually happened in that discussion was Christian Prince conducted something called a sham debate. And this is one of the reasons why I say he's a fraud. A sham debate is basically a debate in one in which you control what your opponent can say, when he can talk, and mute at any time. I just realized for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, I was talking and talking and talking, but he had me on mute. He was jerking me around at the mic, which I don't do up here to anybody. I
Yes.
just said, you know what? Finally, and then when he asked me a question, I truly at that point didn't know if I'm muted. Am I saying? I just said, you know what? I just can't do this anymore. I can't handle all this jerking around in the mics. I said, huh, yeah. And then I said,
Yes.
CP. I said, see, Christian Prince, we the challenge I put to him that you need to meet me on the modern day debate channel.
Yes.
That'll be a much more fair type of debate where you actually got a format and things like that. And notice what he said. He did not accept that challenge. Why? Because I'm going to tell you something. Though I made mistakes in the past, I come
Yes.
with a lot of experience on Quran and science. Christian Prince knew that. And
Yes.
that is why he conducted a sham debate. And I'm not going to be part of that. Okay. That's why I invited him to the right. And notice, and Olan Manila, you asked a question. Christian Prince ran away from that challenge. And what was really nice about it was a lot of people noticed that Christian Prince never did accept the challenge to debate on modern day debate channel. And I don't mind debating on his channel. I could go there, but I know he's gonna conduct a sham debate. He's gonna jerk me around the mic, turn off my microphone, and all those kind of things. I just don't
Yes.
want to deal with that. But so that's why I'm taking him over there. So anyway, the story continues. They went to James from Modern Day Debate Channel, and
Mm.
and they said, please invite Christian Prince because a challenge was put out to him. CP ran away from that. You see, so Olan, I'm going to tell you, you should bear witness now that Christian Prince is a fraud on the run. And really, what you need to do at this point, you need to basically say, Nadir accused you of turning off his microphone. You're conducting a sham debate. The right way to be doing this is you take it over there, take it to the ring, meaning modern day debate channel. Have James, a proper moderator, moderate this. Why did you run from that challenge? And you will see he'll give you no response. He'll probably give you the same thing. Oh, I have been all these people like Nadir. They've all been defeated. They've all been exposed. I've ended his career. Exact same things all the Muslims are saying about them. This stuff doesn't make sense. And it has already explained to you when you have the truth, you should be debating this over and over again so you can continue to evolve and make your arguments better. And that's what me and Hakeem were doing. And not only that, there's also another big advantage of that. Our debates are going up on their channel. Okay. And so we are expanding our audience. We're now like 50,000 people of people who normally would never have heard this discussion, would have now heard the discussion. Look, how did I meet Hakeem? All right. How, he met it by watching some of the debates on some of these channels, an anti-Muslim channel. Okay. So why would you avoid this opportunity? So it doesn't really make any difference if this guy has been defeated, he's been exposed, career has been ended. That's
Oh,
these
sorry,
explanations.
sorry. My Nokia. Sorry, I put myself mute. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Go ahead. So anyways,
Yeah,
going back to my
that's
point
a
to
very good.
you, Ola. I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. My only, I won't take long, probably a minute or so. Um, that's a good thing about Ghalib Kamal. I mean,
I like that about him.
he once the debate that you had it with him. After it finished, he praised you. He said, "We love you, brother," and come
Mhm.
back and all those things. He invited you, and I think everyone there. I haven't seen that they had any kind of a like personal grudge against you. They've all seen you, that you've been humble, you've been discussing properly, you were putting your point, and that's all it matters. There's no win or lose in these debates. Just like you said, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
over there, everyone just they. What you are doing is you are just bringing your message, telling to them, you're giving you your opinion, your message. They will listen it to once, maybe they will deny it once. Next time they will take it more seriously. Third time they will take it even more.
Mm-hmm.
So all you and me, or we can do all together, everyone in brother Somali as well, that
Yes.
just keep giving our message to whoever we think are our enemies. They are not our enemies, by the way. They're just having different opinions about something that matters a lot to us, which is like basically belief.
And they're helping us. They
Yeah,
are
they're helping.
helping us find the
They are.
scientific miracles in our books. They're helping us bring
Exactly.
stellar, great arguments forth, which a lot of it we don't have right now.
Yes, and they are helping us. You are right, because they give us the exposure. That is, and the exposure in reality they think is bad, but it's just bringing more people to Islam, like you said, making people more stronger belief. And this Christian Prince as well. Just to go on your point, I've heard of this guy. This guy is a scam artist. He is a hoax
Mm-hmm.
person. I watched one of the debate. I don't know if it was with him or if it was David Wood, but he uploaded it,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that you ran away and he edited the video. It was all debate. I'm not sure if you know which one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It was all debate with you and David Wood, I think. And he edited that video of you and tried to make it out like you didn't know what was going on. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and
he
like I said, he conducted a sham debate. Now, I want to address a comment by Blue. He said Christian's Prince does not care if he fools people like that. Sadly, uh, yeah, I think that's a very good point. And one thing which I will tell all the Christian Prince fans, one thing they need to understand. Like I said, I don't claim too much about myself here, but
what are ya? Say ya.
I consider myself I consider myself a bigger scholar than those teenage girls Christian Prince debates with. All right. So if he can debate these teenage girls and he has these long live stream discussions with them,
He liked them. He liked them. He is a
why
milk
are you
person.
running from me? I'm better than that. I mean, of course you could say that, you made a lot of blunders and maybe all that is true that I've made all these mistakes, but man, I know I'm better than
Yes,
that teenage girl.
you. That is all he can debate. Is the female is the weaker race.
Yeah. Well, so
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I bring. I think what how how I'm different from a lot of the people, maybe other Muslim apologists. Many people, I think they put themselves in a position where I can't be, how shall I say, proved wrong, or I can't be these people like Apostate Prophet, Christian Prince, David Wood, all these people, they're all beneath me. They've all been defeated and I've triumphed
Yes,
over them. That's
yes.
what everybody's doing. Okay.
It's before
And
the
I don't
views.
I don't take that position. I think I take a different position. And I think that's a far better approach, you know. And I think from the debates which I've been doing in the past, I think a lot of people are benefiting from this evolving knowledge. And that's why I tell people, hey, if you like what you hear, like and subscribe and be part of this evolution.
Brother,
Yeah.
I get this now text message from my friend. I grew up in Somalia. I'm not in Somalia anymore, but I
Mm-hmm.
grew up there. I have many Somali friends and
Yeah.
many people. He just
Nice.
messaged me. I want to show you some of the ridiculousness propaganda that is going on currently in
Mm.
Somalia. He messaged me. Do you guys know of someone called Gaddafi? Muammar Gaddafi?
Muammar Gaddafi. Yeah.
Muammar Gaddafi, yeah. The
Yes,
Libyan.
you know what he just said? He called him Prophet, Prophet Gaddafi. He messaged me 100 times, Prophet Gaddafi, Prophet Gaddafi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's people in Somalia now, they are believing that Gaddafi was a prophet.
Mm.
They are saying they say, why did the United States of America kill Gaddafi? They think that he is a prophet, that he was trying to unite Africa and unite all of them. They think he was a prophet of Islam. This is the type of corruption that is going on right now in Somalia. I just sorry to cut you guys off and go off track, but I just need to reveal this because I might not have this opportunity on a stream again to let the people know. Prophet Gaddafi is not real. He is not prophet.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
So I don't know. I think just to wrap things up here, I think we've gone a little bit over an hour. I was hoping just to do this about an hour here,
Yes.
but
No.
I want to go back to the issue of Ghalib. The things which I mentioned is that when we look at the arguments the atheists are bringing forth, if I were to ask the atheist, do you really believe that alaka has only one meaning? They're going to say, no, of course not. We saw the other different meanings. Not only that, but Ghalib, when I asked the atheist, listen, we had this debate about the function of the heart. It was proved that people can think with the heart. But not only that, but I showed him references from science that people who had heart transplants are actually, you could say they're having the memory and the experiences of the donor. That's a scientific, these are all credible reports from the scientific community. Then Ghalib tried to refute it by showing his own personal scientific research. Oh, you see, but neurons are also inside the genitalia, neurons are also inside the stomach, or some other things. Okay. I asked the atheist this one question. If you are a follower and supporter of Ghalib, do you accept the reliable, credible reports from the scientific community that people who have heart transplants are actually they're having the memories and some of the experiences of the actual donor? All the atheists will have to nod their heads. Yeah, that's what the scientific community is saying. And they're all going to deny what Ghalib is saying. So the point which I'd like to end, even if you were to ask those people who won the debate, who did well, they're going to have their opinions. But in the end of the day, they're going to agree with me. Okay, I can tell you, no one's going to deny those. Because if you accept what Ghalib is saying, that means all those reports and all those credible issues, which of heart transplant patients are basically reporting, you have to deny all of them and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're all lying. This is Ghalib's argument. And the atheists are not ready to do that. Okay. So, anyways, I just wanted to get in the last word over there. I'm going to go ahead and close the live stream. I thought this was pretty good.
Yes, brother. Before you
Yeah.
go, brother.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
you go. Before you go.
Oh, actually, we got one more person here. We'll get Saeed in here real quick. Sorry about that.
Okay. Saeed,
Yeah.
wait your turn, please. A moment.
Yeah.
I am speaking now. Just give me one
Yeah.
moment
Go
before.
ahead. Go ahead, please. And yeah.
Okay. I want to say a couple of things. I'm not going to be too long because I got to leave as well. I got to go take out the
Yeah.
cage.
Sure.
Basically, what I'm saying to you guys is I want to unite as Muslim to be very closer people. And I see for David Wood. Did you know, guys, David Wood tried to kill his dad with a hammer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you see the ridiculousness of him coming on his channel mocking us, calling us the killers?
Mm-hmm.
What type of human is these people? David Wood, he go to Home Depot and shop around for hammer for 45 minutes going in circles. Hammer. That's all he think about. And I see him, I had a conversation with him too one time, maybe a couple, 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he is another deranged man, sick, absolutely sick man. And all these people, Christian Prince, apostate prophets, David Wood, the other Indian guy, the nerd guy with the glasses, the other guy, him, all of them, I'm calling them out. If they want to speak about Nadir, they can find us. They can find me and Nadir, and we will take them.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Somali.
Well, let's go very
We
quickly
will destroy them
because
in the debates.
yeah,
We will
let's go.
destroy
I
them.
think Sayed had something to say. I'm going to go and unmute Mike. There we go. Okay, go up. I'm sorry, I just muted
And
you.
if David Wood dare, he come to Somalia and he step in my country. If he dare, he come. I will hammer him. He hammer his father.
Well, no. Let's not make any threats against the guy.
Yeah.
No, not threat. It is not
Yeah.
threat. It is not threat. It is not threat.
Yeah.
It is not threat. I don't make threats. I'm not threatening this man. I'm talking about
Yeah,
I will
it's good.
hammer him in a debate.
Oh, okay.
With my
Hammer and
words.
debate.
Hammer and
That's
debate
much
is fine.
better. Okay, very good.
Yes. I will get the
fine.
I will get the
Yeah.
nail. I will get, like they say in Somalia, warrior. Niggas. Get the nail, 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Coffin done. That was gonna be his career. With my words, I will destroy him. David Wood, if you hear this, I'm calling you out. An apus, you disgusting, filthy man. I will slap you. I will destroy you. I will touch you. in places you've never been touched. You will not succeed us. And all I got to say is Somalia, number one. Thank you.
Okay, bro. Thank you.
Somalia number
I'm
one.
sorry. Say, go ahead,
Agreed.
please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, salam.
Alaikum
Alaikum
salam.
salam.
But brother Nadir, I have been watching you for more than maybe a decade. Uh, I watch your Sam Shamoun and your debate. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was a very good debate with Sam Shamoun. Uh, you, yeah. My question is, brother, David Wood, why he leave the YouTube? What the reason behind this? Because he make a monthly $16,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Suddenly he abandoned his channel. Why, there must be some reason, you know.
Mhm. Well, I don't know why he left his channel. I don't know a lot of the details about these people, you know, uh, if that answers your question. But I think, the thing is this bashing Islam, this is his career, So I think what happens is there is a large audience out there of people who hate Islam and they will pay money for people to throw mud on Islam. So this is a lucrative career. So people like David Wood and apostate prophet, they're trying to cash in on this, but what I would say, as far as going back to myself, I'm thankful to them that they gave me this opportunity to debate. Now, not all of them went well, to be very honest with you. Like, I think if you look at me in my younger years, you're mentioning you've seen some of my past debates. Some were good, some were not good. All right, but the reason why is, and I'll tell you why. I was very young. I was very young and stupid.
Yeah.
And I tell you what I tell people nowadays, it takes 10 years of experience in debating to look like a fool, just to get to a fool. Once you start progressing and getting older in age, like in your 50s or 60s or 70s, you're going to start getting some wisdom. You're going to start finding out how this thing works. And this is the same thing which you're going to find whether in banking, you look at all the CEOs, what are they in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, right? Because now you've kind of hit the peak of your career. And that's where I believe where I am. I think if you look at the last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 debates I've been having, they're pretty decent. They're pretty good. And you can see it. Definitely there's a progression taking place. When Nadir had hair on his head 15, 20 years ago as compared to now, there's a big difference there. I think my opponents are seeing that difference too. And I think because of that, now they are the ones running away. When it comes to Quran and science, this is a death blow to atheism. This is a death blow to Christianity. And they are running away from that debate because now they're looking at the past debates and they're seeing that this is an unwinnable debate for them. They're not going to be able to make really good points. And there's validity to Quran and science. Now everybody's seeing it. And so now, for the first time, it is the atheists are the ones who are running away. People like Aaron Ra, David Wood, all Christian Prince is a big another example. So I just want to answer one question here. It says, let me just double click on it. Show. Okay. Well, it says, how Sir Nadir answering anything without muting him? I'm not sure what you mean by that question, but I think, Olan, what I would like to see from you is I'd like to see for you to go back to, Christian Prince and tell him about this. Tell him that, hey, Nadir is accusing you of conducting a sham debate and put that debate together because I'm ready. I want to do 5 debates with that guy, and unfortunately, I don't know how many videos I've created challenging him, but it's not me who's running. I'm here. So, anyways, okay, I tell you what. This was a very nice discussion. This was my first live stream. Definitely invite you guys to like and subscribe because there's going to be more content. I know I've been inactive for like, I don't know, 6, 7 months, but now I'm going to be more active with my YouTube channels. We're going to do
Yes.
debate reviews. We're going to talk about what went right, what went wrong, and so, all right, great. So thank you all for
Yes.
coming. I'm going
Thank
to
you,
go
brother.
ahead and
Um,
end the live stream.
just
Okay.
one thing, brother.
Yes. Go ahead.
Olan Manila, he has asked about ahadith, which we couldn't answer because I think we're running out of time.
Oh yeah.
So I would just like to tell our brother, our Christian brother, that hopefully if he will join the next stream, we will schedule it and then we can discuss it.
Yeah.
Or if you think that we can spend maybe 5 minutes discussing this
Yeah.
at these, up to you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Okay.
hope next time, brother, you invite me in if
Next
it's
time.
okay. Next time, if you need any help, let me know at all. I can give you a mini design or help you with your YouTube. Anything you need, brother. I
Sure.
am with you, full support. And thank you as well to you, brother, for both your answers on clearing up both my issue. I respect you, and you guys will be hearing from me very soon. The movement will not stop.
Best
Awesome,
wishes,
brother.
brother.
Okay, thanks. I'll let you guys go.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum,
And,
everybody.
and Nadir,
Yeah. Yeah.
I tuck you in and I give you a kiss. You are a great man. God bless.
Hey,
True.
thanks, bro.
Very true.
Mwah.
Yeah. All right. Bye. Thanks.
Thanks,
Assalamu alaikum.
brothers.
Assalamu
Walaikum salam.
alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam.